So unreal. Watch you go. I tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. I had to fall to lose it all, but in the end, it doesn't even matter.
One thing, I don't know why. It doesn't even matter how hard you try. Keep that in mind. I designed this rhyme to remind myself of a time when in spite of the way you were mocking me, acting like I was part of your property, remembering all the times you fought with me, I'm surprised it got so. Things aren't the way they were before. You wouldn't even recognize me anymore. Not that you knew me back then, but it all comes back to me.
And soon it's gonna pass the drug trade. Because you can sell a bag of cocaine one time with a child 5 to 10 times a day. God's children are not for sale.
How long you been doing this?
12 years now?
How many pedophiles you got?
288.
How many kids you found?
Timoteo, por rescatar niños, ¿verdad? ¿Puedes ayudarme a encontrar a mi hermana?
Te lo prometo.
For Homeland Security, you know we can't go off rescuing Honduran kids in Colombia.
Which means she'll disappear for good. Imagine walking into a room right now, seeing an empty bed. What we do?
You quit your job and you go and rescue those kids.
So at this moment, she could be a block down the road, or she could be at Moscow, Bangkok, LA. She's a major operator.
It's all rebel territory. No one goes in. Not the army, not the police, not us.
What if this was your daughter?
There's no Marine unit coming.
You're on your own. This job tears you to pieces. And this is my one chance to put those pieces back together.
When God tells you what to do, you cannot hesitate.
Check 1, 2. Good evening, everybody. Test, test, test. All right. Let's get everybody in the house here. Just returning from seeing the film Sound of Freedom. I'll give you my take on it. I would love to, as you can see, you can comment if you are on YouTube or Facebook. You are able to comment, and I'm able to post the comments live at the bottom of the screen. If you've seen the film already, I would love to hear your take on it in those comments. All right. So it looks like we got everybody joining in right now. Just give it just another quick 30 seconds here. All right. Get everybody. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. Let's say hello to everybody. Good evening. Good evening. Hello, hello, hello. Okay. Jennifer says, such a powerful movie. It just doesn't light a fire that's been smoldering. I don't know what will. Okay. Hello. Hello, everybody. Hi, Pam. Yes, for some of you, it's the 4th of July already. That's if you're celebrating Independence Day across the pond, if you will. Okay. Excellent. Excellent. All right, so let's get started here. So Dawn says, seen it at noon today. My heart is still hurting. The movie is brilliant and powerful. Okay. I feel honored that you used my sold out picture from Springfield. Thank you so much. Yeah, I did. That was a great shot. I appreciate it. I really do. So with that being said, let's get underway here. All right, so my take on the film. This is I've given lots, not on video, but I've given my 2 cents on many films and movies. I knew going into this particular film, I was not going to critique this as an entertainment type of film, if you will, movie. I knew I had to put on a different mindset. And I knew this wasn't like anybody critiquing the film for entertainment value is just completely, lost the mark, if you will. So first, I'd like to talk about the demographics in the theater. Walking in there, I think we got there a little early. I think we were there about 10 after 4. So just chilling out, eat some popcorn. And then I noticed that the theater seemed to be kind of empty, even though I knew that it was sold out. I saw some folks coming, some folks sending me some messages earlier today about their experience at movie theaters across the country. Some people noticed that, hey, they send me screenshots of their theater was sold out, and they had lots of empty seats in there. Okay. Ours was sold out as well, but I would say it was only like, I don't know, maybe 70% full, which was interesting. So, and other folks were messaging me too and saying the same thing. Either it's one or two things. So, one is a lot of people are getting free tickets, maybe just not showing up, or they just got them and they're holding on to them, they didn't use them, or whatever. But I found my tinfoil hat went on right away as soon as I walked into the movie theater, because I literally had on a sweatshirt. Now it's hot here today. Probably most of you, it's hot everywhere. But I purposely usually wear a sweatshirt or a zip up hoodie when I go to the movie theater, because it's usually quite cool in there. And we got in there, it was a sweat box. It was like somebody forgot to turn on the air. So then my conspiracy theory hat is like, all right, all these seats aren't filled. They're sweating us out of here. The left is hard at work. Now I know that sounds crazy, but not entirely, because I'm seeing a lot of reports of people, whether you're sending me stuff or I'm seeing it via like Twitter, okay, looking in comments, some on Facebook, and there's a couple of red flags went up, if you will. So I don't know. But I don't want to make that show about this. I did see hit pieces out there. I seen some they're comparing this film to of course they're comparing the film to QAnon. I don't have it grabbed because I literally just got home from the theater and I had to rush into the studio here and get prepared. So okay, so here, bring up a comment. When I bought tickets 3 days ago, theater was almost sold out. Today, when I went, it was not full by any means. That's my point exactly. So I don't know if it's the rollover, which is fine. Okay. I mean, if you saw my comment earlier, hold on. This one here. And there you go. Sound of Freedom presale has now topped the charts at $10 million one day before theater release. There's more than Disney's Indiana Jones. So that's a good thing. That's a real good thing. So making a film takes a lot of work, a lot of energy, takes a lot of money and time, and the filmmakers have to absolutely recoup their money. I noticed that a lot of money went into, as soon as they announced that Sound of Freedom was going to be released July 4th, I noticed how the uptick was on appearances by Jim Caviezel, the director of Sound of Freedom, and Tim Ballard, and the marketing that I seen just saturating my particular YouTube channel. It was heavy. Every time I clicked on something, Sound of Freedom popped up. That's expensive. So they put a lot of money into the advertisement, the marketing of the film, and good for them for doing so. So for those that don't know, if you don't realize, this is not a Hollywood film. This is an independent film. So Hollywood has nothing to do with it. All right. So my take on the movie. All right. I'm kind of keeping an eye on your yeah. Well, real quick here, red flag for me, because first day all sold out. You suppose someone could be buying up? It could be. You know what went through my mind? What went through my mind was, you remember when President Trump had I forgot where he was at, having a rally, and he said you can go online and get tickets here, and then all the lunatics went on and sucked them all up. And that particular rally, he had a bunch of empty seats. That went through my mind. I thought, okay, here we go again, but big deal. People will see it. It's hot. It's out there. So that's good. let me write this down real quick because I want to write down what happened after the film. Okay, after the movie, and I will tell you what happened. Okay, which was pretty interesting. All right, so I am not really going to critique the film. I thought it was okay. I thought it was a very good film. I thought what was most important was the storytelling. The storytelling had to come out strong, and I believe that they delivered that. Okay, now to it's a good. The film is very good at raising awareness about the problem globally about child trafficking. Had incredible details on it about the numbers and everything else. In the film, in the script, and after the film, they had some things with some uh, numbers they put up and some things about Tim Ballard, etc. So, and then after the credits rolled, once the credits were done, there was a special message by Jim Caviezel, which I thought was one of the most important parts of the film. If you're going to see the film, stick around, let the credits roll, and watch the message from Jim Caviezel afterwards. Okay, I won't spoil it. All right, I'm not going to spoil. This really isn't going to be a spoiler alert at all. It's not. It's not. It's not a spoiler. So the film was very good. I learned a few things in the film that I didn't know about. Okay, I'm not going to touch on those things because I want everybody to go see the movie. Okay, I think the director did a great job. Now, somebody had asked about. Okay, one thing Jim will say at the end, and I'm not going to give it all away, but one thing I can say because I've talked about this before on my show is he tells the people it's been sitting on a shelf for 5 years. Okay, this movie. Now, why was it sitting on a shelf? Well, originally, how the story goes is that the original now Angel Studios is the studio who picked up Sound of Freedom, and thank God for that. And they delivered it to the public in a theatrical release, which started today. Okay. Yes, it starts one day earlier in many major cities around the country. I'm aware of that. I don't really. I know some people says it doesn't start till the 4th. It's advertised for the 4th, but it started a day early. I chose to go a day early because I wanted to not. I didn't feel like going on the 4th of July. So, but at the end, Jim talks about it took 5 years for this film to get made. The reason for that is because 20th Century Fox was the original studio that was on board for this film 5 years ago. Well, during that time, and I think they were still on the cutting room floor. If I had the story correct, don't hold me to it, but I think they were still in the process of editing even. And 20th Century Fox was bought out by Disney. And then Disney, you would think of all companies in the world, Disney shelved Sound of Freedom, put it on a shelf, and it sat there for all these years. So, and then it wasn't until Angel Studios says, hey, they made a deal with them and said, we want this film. So, I don't know how that went as far as the negotiations went, but that's what happened. And that's why it's been on the shelf for so long. So, again, it takes an incredible amount of work to put a film out, besides putting a movie together. And I got to admit that the film was better than I anticipated, to be honest with you. It was done very well. Cinematography was great if you want to talk about those things, because that can easily get, when they give awards for best direction, best movie, best sound, best editing, and all that stuff. This is not about that. And I'm not saying it's a bad movie at all. It is not a bad movie. It's a great movie. Go see the movie. Okay. I thoroughly thought it was a great story, and they told it in a very responsible way. Don't worry. I'll give you a little spoiler, and it's not much. You don't have to worry about going in there. You will cry, but you don't have to worry about going in there and seeing stuff that you're kind of worried about seeing. You really won't see that. Okay, it's not an R-rated movie, so it's not graphic in that sense. It's more the way they shot it, the way they told the story. It's more tension, and you do squirm a little bit because it allows your imagination, which I kudos to the filmmakers for this because I'm a big one on allowing people to use their imagination instead of showing everything on the screen. I've always been like that. And they did that with this film. So, you know, um it's it's um it's terrible that let me back up. Most of you who are already red pilled or awakened, this will not be a surprise to you. Okay. Now, if I saw some people critiquing the film and being dismissive about it, I'm not talking about the story, I'm talking about the film. And somebody actually said, I don't know what all the hype was. Well, I love the idea that they hyped it up, and they hyped it up really well, and that is marketing. At the end of the film, and I'll give one more thing away, it's not that big of a deal. Jim Caviezel tells us it is our responsibility now to go out there and promote this, send people to the theater, raise awareness, tell them about the movie. The demographic of the film in I'm in Cleveland, Ohio. I would say was pretty much, there were some kids in there, not little kids, they were teenagers, which I thought was really cool. The demographic was pretty much probably like my Facebook demographic. So, which was probably definitely 40 plus. Okay. That was pretty much the demographic there. They did tell a great story, like I said. The story of Tim Ballard. Now, let me just tell you this, because this is not a spoiler. It is about Tim and rescuing. It's a certain story because this is what it shows you in the trailer and what the synopsis is about. And Tim has to go rescue two certain children. He rescues two children, and one's a little boy, and then he's got to find his sister. This is pretty much the beginning of Operation Underground Railroad. They didn't even get into Operation Underground Railroad or how that came about. They just showed Tim quitting the government and using funds. You'll see where in the movie. And then it ended there. I think the way it ended was pretty much the beginning stages, which you don't see in the film. It ends at the beginning stages of them going to financiers like Glenn Beck, Tony Robbins, and big names that funded Operation Underground Railroad to give them their jump start to begin their operations around the world. Because Tim was really in there in the film, portrayed by Jim Caviezel, and he really did. He had some help, a couple people, like, if you will, a few people, but he didn't have the big team assembled at all like he has today with Operation Underground Railroad. So the film does raise awareness about child trafficking. So after the film was over, after the film was over, the credits were rolling, and then Jim Caviezel gave his message, which he'll give at every theater across the country. And once Jim was done with his message, it was a little hard to hear because the music was still playing with the credits rolling, because there were more credits after Jim spoke again. So it's kind of like a pause in between the credits. Something I'd never seen before. People in the audience that were there, first of all, everybody stuck around because there was like a 2 or 3 minute countdown or something like that till Jim's message came up as the end credits started to roll. And then people stood up after Jim spoke and started to talk in the theater and asking for everybody's attention. One lady talked about an incident that happened with a child, I guess locally here. She went into detail about that. But then she also said, as she watched the film, She did not know that the problem, the epidemic, if you will, with child trafficking was this bad. I don't believe that a lot of people realize how bad it is. For them to say it is surpassed the illegal arms trade and soon it will pass the illegal drug trade is absolutely alarming, disturbing, and mind-blowing. Um, there were parts that no question will bring a tear to your eye. It did for me. But it was necessary. Okay. Now, if you can't go into the theater looking like you're going to see, if you're going to see the new Transformers or Fast and Furious or something, or the July 4th blockbuster, that ain't the case. This is good. They told the story very well. Hats off to them. Again, so I'd like to get your comments right now, and jump in here, and I'll bring your comments up on the screen. And I'll take a look at things, and I'd like to hear from you guys real quick, and we won't keep this too long. But this is just a way because I can reach some people and we can talk, and hopefully some people stumble across the podcast. And so if I had to give you my overall review, go see the film. I believe, and I always have believed this. There was a documentary film, okay, that was called, let me set this up. There was a documentary film which HBO picked up years ago. It was called Paradise Lost. It was about the West Memphis Three. And if you don't know who the West Memphis Three is, they were three young boys, okay, who were arrested for the murders of some these are teenage boys. They lived in a trailer park. They wore rock shirts, Metallica shirts. They wore black. And this was in the height of the late 90s when they were doing the satanic groups and everything. And all the talk shows had it on, and Geraldo and all that stuff. They had arrested these three teenage boys, and pinned murders on them from other little boys that were sexually abused and mutilated. Okay. And reason I'm bringing that up is because that particular documentary film, if it was not done, okay, these three boys that they arrested who were innocent, okay, they were innocent. Once you watch the documentary, you get mad. You're like, these boys are innocent. It's so infuriating. And it was the power of film that made a difference. And those three boys, one of them, which was Damian Eccles, was put on death row. They were on death row, and this is in West Memphis. And those boys are free today because of the power of film and people who stepped up and threw a lot of money their way to get them released. I think they spent, 11 years or something. I don't know. It was a long time they were locked up. Anyways, I don't want to divert. My point I'm trying to make is the power of film, and that is what Sound of Freedom is. It's the power of film. It could really make a difference. And I believe this movie does. It is a great red pill film for the masses. Someone like myself going in, even though I'm man enough to admit I did cry, but I did cry. All right. But at the same time, I think, how do I put this? I'll leave that go because it would be a spoiler if I say what I'm about to say. I don't want to spoil it right now. We'll give it about a week. We'll talk about it again because a lot of you have not seen the film. So I was going to throw something in there. I'm sorry about that. I can't do that. All right. So let's go to your comments real quick. All right. So there we go. Going Friday. There we go. Katie says, I'm sending the trailer to everywhere and recruiting people to watch. This is going to help people understand when the Clinton Haiti stuff gets talked about again. very true. As many of you know, that I had Nick Nanton on, which was the director of Operation Toussaint. It is the documentary film about Tim Ballard and Operation Underground Railroad in Haiti. Now, that happens after, according to the timeline of Sound of Freedom, that happens after. Okay. So, this one takes place in pretty much, there's many different parts, but for the most part, it takes place in Colombia. All right. So, that's the story there. The Haiti story, I'm very well aware of. Okay. So, let's keep going here. All right. So I guess people are asking, yes, eventually there will be a worldwide release. So a lot of people are asking over in the UK, Australia, at least the people I see who follow me in different countries. It looks like there will be, I'm sure there'll be a worldwide release, no doubt about it. I'm sure this is the beginning stages here in the States to kick off, to get it funded. And that's another reason too. Apparently they did $10 million already, which is great. It's those funds that they need to get it out there to the rest of the world. That's how it works. Okay. So, all right. There you go. Tina says, I challenge everyone to not just watch the movie, but contact Operation Underground Railroad in your state to see how you can help. And there's another thing. You could pick any organization that you want, find one, do your research, however you want to get involved. This is what the movie is about. This is not for you to go just sit there and have popcorn and enjoy a film. Okay. This is about raising awareness. And now it's up to you to go ahead and go out there and do what you're doing. And it's great to see people in the comments. I love my followers. I do. I love you guys. These patriots are awesome because I see them sharing it everywhere. I'm not a guy who goes on, even though I'm on Facebook, I don't go cruising on Facebook. I don't go really reading timelines or anything like that. I don't get my news from Facebook. There's no news I get from Facebook. I get it from other sources. But I did go on there on purpose today, as a matter of fact, and because I was curious. And a lot of people went to go see the film. They're posting about the film, when they're going to see it, paying it forward. So that's very, very inspiring. So, all right. Becky says, I did an Operation Underground Railroad fundraiser for my birthday in July a couple of years ago on Facebook. Awesome. See, this is how you get involved here. I will say this, because I know I get people who get pissed off at me. First of all, I really don't care. And I say that with humility. I really don't care at all. But I did post something earlier. I'm not going to get into a tip, and I don't want the comments to get into there. But for the people, I'll just say this. For the people who are bashing this film, not the crazy lunatics on the left, they'll meet the Lord one day. They'll have to deal with that. But the people who are making it an attempt to discredit, like Jim Caviezel, Tim Ballard, Operation Underground Railroad, and the film itself, Sound of Freedom, ask yourself this. What are they doing besides bashing and throwing out conspiracy theories like Tim, this and the CIA and this, we're being fooled and everything else? Newsflash, and whether you like to hear it or not, too many of you have been down a rabbit hole way too deep, and you're stuck. And the devil has you by the balls. The devil has you. Yes, pray, use discernment. I get that. I do too. But it's pretty easy. All right. When people put out allegations like that, and I call them out or put them on blast, I don't need to give you any proof. When they put out allegations like that, show proof. Ask them to show you proof. So that's what I have to say about that. I don't get it. This is the moment that many of you have been waiting for. You were locked down. You went down the rabbit hole. And in the beginning of your rabbit hole venture during COVID, when you were locked down, you stumbled upon something like the fall of the cabal, and then certain words I can't say, and you stumbled upon the underworld of child trafficking and everything else. I don't have to say what those things are, but you did. And here we are now. We have been putting hashtags up for save our children, save the children for years. People have been on it. This is why this movement and the truther movement really began. Yes, the government we saw was corrupt. Trump came down those steps, and then they pretty much showed their cards. So now we knew that not only were we right, but we got to see how corrupt the government is. 3-letter agencies are, and here we are. So, and you went down that rabbit hole, and now here we are with the Sound of Freedom out in America and to the world as we speak. So, anyways, I say go see the film. It was an excellent film. It was worth it. I'd pay to see it again, even just because. Let's go back. Oh, yeah. There you go. They don't. All these people, this is one thing you got to do. When you want to do research, and you don't have to listen to me. Who the hell am I, right? Doesn't matter. You don't have to listen to me. I'll just tell you what I do. When I do research, and I get tons of videos and things like that all the time, and I just dismiss them left and right. 90+% of them I just toss aside. I don't even waste my time. But you when people put out allegations, you have to try and debunk it. There's a golden rule. Try and debunk it 3 times. Okay, 3 times. If you can't debunk it, then you're onto something. Okay, maybe that person is onto something. So that's how you should really do it. Too many people are falling into being sucked in to every single little post that's out there. For example, like this weekend, everybody went nuts with this whole thing about Biden and a heart attack because one post put it on 4chan on the back channels, and then it just caught on like wildfire. You do you is what I say, but be careful out there. This is why I don't. I like to be myself. Just been this way all the time, and I like to dissect things and all this crap. There's so much BS, so much false information out there that it's hard to find the truth. You're swimming in a pool of crap right now, tons of crap. People are just making TikTok videos and YouTube videos, and I'm not talking about podcasts, just little short videos, and they're putting out stuff like the one today that was sent my way. The old black and white picture of Trump back in the day, I think in the 80s, where he's jumping up in the air and his hands are in his pocket, that famous picture, and his feet are spread. Somebody sent me a TikTok video explaining that because his legs were spread at the bottom, that's the sign of the Illuminati. This is madness. I wish you all well. I pray for everybody right now who is down that deep, dark rabbit hole where you're being deceived by the devil himself, and you're being played, and you're being easily manipulated, and you're easy prey because you're allowing your emotions to rule you. Okay? I didn't want to turn this into a preaching thing, but it's a cesspool out here of bad information. Just a cesspool because people want clicks. They want more followers. That's what it's about. All right. Yes, Bruce, he holds his hands a certain way. And oh my God. Absolutely. Let's see. Thanks, Becky. I appreciate that. Watching West of Memphis now. Are you talking about the film, the documentary? You guys want it, like I said, you want to see a powerful film talking about Sound of Freedom and the power of film making a difference, making changes in real world situations, real life. Again, when I saw the West Memphis 3 called Paradise Lost, it's called. It's I think it was in 96 or 7 or something. I just knew. I remember saying, because I was early on in my career with broadcasting and everything else. And I study film left and right. And I'm like, man, this documentary proves the power of filmmaking. And they made 2 more after that, and 3, and it took a number of years, but they got those boys released. If it wasn't for that film, those boys would be locked up for life, and Damien would have fried. The power of film, and that's what the Sound of Freedom did this evening. So, yes, people have gone insane with the crap that's out there. Marcy, no, I did not. I haven't been on social media since I left for the theater. Did you see, except for telling people I was about to go on, did you see my post? That Jim said they are making a part 2 to that makes sense. That as a matter of fact, when I left there, I'm like, man, there's a lot more story to tell. And for them to make a part 2, it makes sense. I do know that Mel Gibson is coming out with more documentary. When I interviewed Nick Nanton, he says on the interview that I did, you could see that on my Rumble channel at MindFix TV. And Nick Nanton, who directed the Operation Descent with Tim Ballard and Operation Underground Railroad inside of Haiti, okay, said on the podcast and when I interviewed him that there is more coming out just after the Sound of Freedom as well, that they have prepared for the world to be released. So it's good. This is happening. This movement is happening. Thank God for the people out there who are the filmmakers, the storytellers that can put it together and package it together to inform the world. Okay. All right. So again, so how did you guys, again, if you already put it in there, I got a lot of comments in here. It's hard to go all the way back. If you could help me out again. If you saw the film before we sign off here on this podcast, it's 8:42. I've been on for 40 minutes. Again, in the comments, I'd like to put them up before I sign off. Tell me how you like the film. If you've seen it, say in the comments, if you will. All right, so there we go. Yes, a big documentary coming from Mel Gibson and Jim Caviezel. Heard it will blow the lid right off. Can't wait. Looking forward to it. I wish I could find that. As a matter of fact, let's do that real quick. Let me try something. Bear with me. You'll love this. Let me see if I can find the propaganda of them. The headlines blaming QAnon. This is a QAnon film. Okay, so I'll tell you what I'll do. I will play. I love Carly and I trust Carly. All right, so I'm going to share something on Twitter. I have not watched this. She's doing what I did. Okay, I see she's doing it. Again, I'm asking people if you could send into my messenger. Okay, video clips of your initial review. Okay, of the film. Carly is doing that. Okay, Carly Bonet. I'm going to grab this screen right now, and she just shared one. And I trust her, even though I haven't seen it. So I'm taking a big risk here. But let's listen to a review, okay? And let me bring this up. There we go. Okay. All right. And let me bring this up. Let's listen to this.
I'm on the verge of tears pretty much the entire movie. Like I'm almost kind of over the edge, but not quite. Just somewhere between just very, very tight and just almost crying, but not quite. Movie ends, credits roll, the levees broke. That was so well done. Let's talk about it for a hot second, okay? So this movie is called The Sound of Freedom, right? Interesting title for a movie that's so quiet. I've never seen a movie told through such a male lens. When I say male, I'm not talking about, here's a male that never fails. No, I mean male men. This is a very male-centered, male lens, male perspective kind of movie, and that's why it's so dang quiet. Because men tend to internalize things, right? They're not very vocal about their emotions. They should be, have every right to be, but they tend to not be. They keep a lot of that heaviness either on their shoulders or in their gut, and then it spills out in one way or another. That's what this is. So the beginning, when we first meet Tim Ballard, played by Jim Caviezel, I was a little confused because I'm like, they're not giving me anything. It's very, very quiet. We're just kind of just following this man in his kind of ups and downs. You have to really pay attention to the details, what he's doing, his facial expressions, because he doesn't say a whole lot. We have to pay attention to what's around him, what he's seeing, what he's experiencing, his family. Mira Sorvino plays his wife, okay? In this corner of the film industry, she's no small player, but we don't see a lot of her. We don't hear a lot from her. And at one point, I'm like, I really wish we could hear more from her. But no, it's necessary that we don't hear from her. She would have been way too loud. A good woman behind a good man is necessary noise. She would have been way too much noise in a movie where the director is determined to let the images speak for themselves. And boy, do they speak. So this movie is about child trafficking. Tim Ballard, who was an FBI agent, quit his job to go to Colombia to rescue children. The emotional genius behind this movie is Rosia, the little girl who he is trying to rescue. Instead of making this movie about the overall broad issue of sex trafficking, this is a story about little girls. So that when we hear the word sex trafficking, we have a face. And the actress who played her, my God, what a brave young lady. This movie is heavy. One of the best I've seen all year, definitely.
And another thing, too, is I'm taking a look through here. I'm doing a Sound of Freedom check on Twitter. Those children, by the way, were the brother and sister in this movie. Incredible. Those children, incredible. Boy, they did a great job. She is absolutely right. Okay. Yes, that lady did nail it. Great review. Again, she kind of talks about, without saying what I was just preaching, about the power of film. And this is what this movie is. Okay. So let me take another look here. Of course, we know about, if you haven't seen Mel Gibson, I posted a couple times. What I'm looking for here is pretty positive for the most part. Trust me, even though it looks like I'm going fast, I know what I'm doing. I'm looking for, and I'm not seeing it. I saw it when I was sitting down in the theater, and I saw, oh, wait. There we go. The Dangerous QAnon video, Sound of Freedom, premiering tomorrow, is designed to indoctrinate people through lies about threats to their children. It is a military-grade psychological warfare to radicalize American ISIS. Jim Caviezel is QAnon. Sounds like this guy sleeping with Madison Marquette. I didn't say that. All right. All right, so we'll stop that. All right. Correct, Ren. It's out there. It's out there. All right. It is out there. And again, we're going to wrap this up here. So I already went going on 15 minutes. So that's enough. All right. So again, if you can send your video clips, I'd love to post them. I'd like to get them out there as well. If you can also and any of the comments as well when I post things up there, throw in your movie review. I'd be glad to compile some things together to put out some good posts. I'll hashtag these things so they get some momentum out there. I'm just trying to do my part. We're trying to do our part, and together we can do this and just continue to get it out there and get people to go see it. So that's what it is. So the two films of 2023 that is a must for everybody, is The Sound of Freedom and Nefarious. I never thought I'd see a year, and these films will never see the light of day on a Hollywood stage award show, which they should. They should. Also, hats off to Angel Studios here in Cleveland. They showed trailers for upcoming films for Angel Studios. There's some good films that look like they're coming out this year as well. Looking forward to supporting that company over there. They're doing a great job from what I could see. Done with responsibility, integrity, and great storytelling. Hats off, Angel Studios. You are an inspiration for me personally. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I appreciate it. Send me your video clips of doing movie reviews, and I'll get those out there on social media. And I appreciate everybody for tuning in tonight. Thank you. Get out there. Go see Sound of Freedom. Pay it forward. Get some tickets. Grab those sleeping family and friends. Just say, hey, let's go to a movie. And even if you got to dupe them into it, get them in that theater. All right. God bless you guys. Talk to you later. All right. Bye-bye.